Some games you finish and forget about in 2 days. And some games show up out of nowhere years later, a scene, a soundtrack, a choice a character made, and you just stop and think about it for a while. Today, I want to talk about the games that stayed with me that second way. This isn't a technical breakdown, no scores, no definitive ranking, just a personal list of JRPGs that hit me in ways I wasn't expecting when I first started playing them. Some of them I went in thinking they were just another game. Others I already knew were good, I just had no idea how much they'd actually get to me. Oh, and no heavy spoilers. These games are way better when you go in blind. Trust me on that one. Let's get into it. First on the list, Yakuza 0. This one caught me the most off guard, because I went in with zero expectations. In my head, it was going to be a Japanese crime drama. Some fighting, maybe a decent story. That's exactly what it looks like. But nobody warned me that underneath all that chaos, the completely unhinged sub-stories, the karaoke, the cabaret club that stole hours of my life I'm never getting back, there were absurdly well-written characters. Yakuza 0 has two protagonists, Kiryu and Majima, and the game reveals who they are slowly, in a way where you start to understand exactly why each of them makes the decisions they make. It never feels forced, it just makes sense. What got me was how the game can shift from completely absurd, like a sub-story where you help a rock with feelings make friends, to something genuinely heavy without breaking the flow at all. And it works because by the time things get serious, you've already spent enough time with these people to actually care about what happens to them. The game starts looking like a crime drama and ends up being a story about what you're willing to give up to become who you want to be.
Perpetually trapped in a never-ending spiral of life and death.
Nier Automata. I'm going to try to avoid the cliche of saying it's hard to explain to someone who hasn't played it. But honestly, Nier Automata is exactly that. At first glance, it just looks like a stylish action RPG. You play as an android with incredible combat abilities, the gameplay feels incredibly smooth, the visuals are gorgeous, and the art direction is absolutely stunning. The longer you spend in that world, the more things start to feel off. The cities are empty and melancholic. The characters try to behave like purely logical machines, yet they constantly fail, revealing a humanity they were never supposed to have. And the soundtrack? It's one of the greatest video game soundtracks ever composed. That's a hill I'm willing to die on. As you progress through the different routes, the game gradually corners you with questions you weren't expecting. If you were created solely to fulfill a purpose, who are you when that purpose no longer exists? If everything you feel was programmed by someone else, are those feelings still yours? There's a strong influence of Nietzsche and existential nihilism running throughout the game, but what makes it brilliant is that these ideas aren't confined to the dialogue. Nier Automata weaves them directly into its gameplay, making mechanical choices that only reveal their true meaning as the story unfolds. And the ending? The ending completely caught me off guard. It's one of those rare moments in gaming that stays with you long after the credits roll.
We're soldiers. We take pride in our service. I felt like I didn't belong. I wanted someone, anyone, beside me.
Final Fantasy X. If you're a JRPG fan, you've probably already heard of Final Fantasy X. Maybe you already know about that one specific moment everyone talks about. But what I want to talk about is everything that comes before that. Because Final Fantasy X is a game where you feel sad even during the happy moments. The world of Spira is beautiful, and it's dying, and the people who live there built an entire culture around that fact. That atmosphere is present from the very first hours of the game. It never goes away. The relationship at the center of the story works because the game never forces it. It grows slowly through small scenes, and there's this feeling the whole time, even without knowing exactly why, that things aren't going to end well. To Xanacard alone puts me on edge from the first 3 notes. That says a lot about how this soundtrack works. And when the game ends, a bunch of small scenes you barely noticed start making a lot more sense. It's the kind of thing you keep thinking about after the credits roll. No details on the ending. Don't look it up. Don't watch clips online. Just play it.
Let 'em have it, fellas!
Persona 3, I have to be careful because I really don't want to spoil anything here. The game is about death. You're a high school student. You go to class, you have friends, you do normal things. And you also fight monsters during a supernatural hour that nobody else can see. Normal Monday. What Persona 3 does really well is slowly get you attached to those characters over many hours, and then use that against you emotionally. Not in a manipulative way, just in a way that works because you already care about those people by the time it matters. The atmosphere is heavier than the other games in the series, less colorful, quieter. Burn My Dread and Memories of You fit that perfectly. They're so tied to the story that they're hard to listen to separately once you know what they mean. By the end, the game works way more through your attachment to the characters than through its mechanics. And at one specific point near the finish, it does something I wasn't expecting, and left me thinking about things I don't normally think about after finishing a game. I played Reload, highly recommended as your starting point.
Just you and I.
And then there's Xenogears. This one plays in a completely different league. It's a 1998 classic infamous for a second disc that suffered major budget and development cuts, and for having a narrative so dense that, let's be honest, it's going to lose a lot of people right from the start. And yet, it's still one of the games that has stayed with me more than almost anything else I've ever played. The story blends Jungian psychology, philosophy, Gnosticism, and science fiction in a way that should have been an absolute mess. And sometimes it kind of is. But when it works, it delivers something that no other JRPG has ever truly managed to replicate. The protagonist's journey is a complete deconstruction of identity. The game spends dozens of hours tearing apart his mind, only to slowly put the pieces back together again. And the way Xenogears explores trauma, memory, and the search for self feels remarkably honest and mature, especially for a game released in the late 90s. All of this is wrapped in a phenomenal soundtrack that can stand shoulder to shoulder with the very best Final Fantasy has ever offered. Xenogears demands patience. It's a commitment. There are moments when it's rough around the edges, moments when you can clearly see the limitations of its development. But if you're willing to accept that and see it through to the end, it rewards you with a level of depth that many modern games, no matter how polished, expensive, or technically impressive they are, simply can't reach. The JRPGs that stayed with me the most were never necessarily the most polished or the most technically impressive. They were the ones I kept thinking about long after I finished them, and still have a soft spot for to this day. Years later, I still remember specific scenes from every single one of them. That doesn't happen with a lot of things. So drop in the comments which JRPG did that to you. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you in the next one.